Hello, this is Casey, Director of Curriculum, and sharing the May curriculum update. Certainly, the weather has changed, and I think shifts are abound in our schools as we move into the spring mode. And in addition to SBAC and STAR 360 assessment, um, there's a lot that's taking shape, and a great deal of it is a result of all of your hard work. And I think there's examples of people being able to get together in ways that maybe we hadn't been able to in the fall based on the way the school year started. But it's exciting to see celebrations of learning that'll take shape, middle school forums that are being held, music concerts, PBIS celebrations, guest speakers. There's all sorts of field trips. I think some eighth graders are headed to Boston. I know seniors at FHU will be having upcoming trips. So there's a lot to be excited about. And I wanted to highlight a few different events that have taken shape recently. And I know that there's probably others that I don't have access to, and they're taking place. And I don't mean to slight anyone by not recognizing them now. Um, but here are some photos of different examples of how recently our vision of rigorous, authentic, experiential, individualized learning has taken shape in Slate Valley. There was a project, and it's linked down below, where some kindergarten students at Fairhaven Grade School participated in a Humane Society project. Here is the video of that, and there's a picture here of a student who was able to connect with the illustrator of this book and get a real picture of the dog from the story. And here are kindergarten students at Fairhaven Grade School. And if you're interested again in seeing the example of our vision in action, then check out this video here. Also, fourth graders throughout the district started through some interest at Orwell Village School, um, took part in a fundraiser connected to a story that was read in fourth grade classrooms to provide a moment of joy for students in Ukraine, students that are now refugees, actually, not in Ukraine. And so there's an example here of maple candies and a note from the author of a story that was read in fourth grade classrooms accompanying the maple candies in hopes of bringing joy to those who are displaced as a result of the events happening in Ukraine. As part of that, and again, an example of our vision in action, students at Fairhaven Union High School's horticulture class had gathered sap and boiled that sap, made it into maple syrup, and donated that to the project that was happening across the district in fourth grade. And as recently as last week, students from Fairhaven Grade School, Orwell Village School, and Benson Village School made their way to Fairhaven Union High School and visited with the horticulture class. And students in Mr. Maroli's class were the teachers for about 45 or 50 minutes as students made their way through different activities, from planting sunflower seeds, as you can see here in the greenhouse, to understanding a bit more about how it is maple trees end up producing sap, to beehives that the horticulture class are working with, to grafting, excuse me, branches onto other types of trees in order to produce different types of fruits. So again, if you're interested in more about that, you can check out this Maple Mission press release. I added a bit to it, but shout out to Josh Burlett, our communications coordinator, who put that out to both the Rutland Herald and I think the Addis Independent. And so there'll be some stories in the local news in regards to those efforts in fourth grade. As well, the Fairhaven Union High School Guidance Department puts out a newsletter, if you will, and the first ever career fair is going to be taking place at Fairhaven Union High School on the early release day, May 4th. Also on that day, 11th graders are going to share a values project for 9th, 10th, and 12th graders. And that sharing is going to take place kind of science fair style. And that is, again, exciting and demonstrates kind of our vision in Slate Valley. And so I've linked the handbook if anyone wanted to see any further details on what that 11th grade effort looks like. And for the first time, 12th graders are going to share with a panel of their choosing of aspects of their learning journey. And right now, 12th graders are starting to sign up for that activity. And again, hopefully that's an opportunity to really step back and recognize how it is students have been able to find success through our system, and specifically at Fairhaven Union High School. And the final item that I wanted to share really is meant to maybe point to all of the change that's taken place. And I do know that there are great challenges in the amount of change that's going on in Slate Valley at the moment. And in fact, I think a lot about how humans aren't really wired to deal with change. I mean, typically throughout history, change really only occurs with enormous events such as plagues or wars or famines, and how now we find, I'd say, weekly, daily, and certainly given the impact of a global pandemic, that change occurs with regularity. And so if you can find your way through that change and taking control of what you can and recognizing what that change looks like for you, and then seeking support, asking clarifying questions, and then asking for support, I think will allow us to be change capable and potentially even find greater success in all of the change that's abound. And that's the change in, our redesign and configuration from pre-K 8s to pre-K 6s, to once having a 6-8 to now having a union middle school. And so thinking about all of that change over the summer, and I do know that summer is not a time for everyone to think about school, but Abby, Lynn, Kristen, Molly, and myself have been working on how to provide opportunities for groups to collaborate if they'd like to, in order to find those levels of support to see yourself succeeding through this change. And so you'll notice there are some opportunities for current staff only, and then other opportunities for current staff, new staff, and then those that are new moving to, their assignments are new for 2022. So please take a look at this. Also, please note the compensation, and note that given that this takes place during the summer, I'm not always able to sign off on the work that took place, and am not always able to connect with the business office to have payment happening on that 2-week cycle that you may anticipate. So know that I do my best, but there are times that I am out of the office. Note that for the first time, we're recognizing that for some, a half day might be the best use of your time in terms of connecting with the different topics above. You'll notice that we've identified kind of half day experiences as well as full day experiences. And so wanted to make certain that compensation could break into a half versus a full day. And again, please always reach out. I look forward to seeing more of you as we are able to kind of mix together now that the weather is getting nicer and we're outside. And then also just given what we've been able to learn and how we've been able to manage this pandemic. And happy May.